And welcome back to the Arnette Report. And I am just so pleased that Inez LeBeau with Transformation Solutions was able to make a hole in her schedule, and we have her here tonight, so we get a chance. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I was born in Argentina, and we came to Washington, D.C. when I was 10 years old, so I'm really considered a Washingtonian, right? Went to high school here and American University, and so really have been all my life in Washington, D.C.
So you came up with this concept and idea for Transformation Solutions. Tell us a little bit where that came from.
So ever since I was a little kid, I loved solving problems and fixing things. I always wanted to fix things. And so when I went into the business world, I found that I was recruited into companies who were needing of turnaround management, re-engineering, and I found my world, right?
Wow.
I found my world. And so for the last 34 years, I've been in this turnaround management re-engineering. And when I decided to start my own company last year, I thought this is perfect segue in my career to start a management consulting company that we get recruited in by executives who are in need of some kind of transformation, re-engineering of their companies.
Right.
And so that's how the whole company evolved.
Well, give us an idea about who typically would benefit from working with you.
Well, we're targeting companies that are $1 million to $50 million companies, and they are really the underserved companies in our community because these are the companies who can't afford Accenture or Deloitte or the big guys, right? And usually what they do is they come in with a package, and every company I've been in, they have it sitting on a shelf because these companies who need the help, right, are the ones who need the hands-on help with doing diagnostics and coming up with a roadmap and helping them implement and execute that plan, right? So that's how it's just a natural fit.
Well, you must be having fun with this. Give us an example of one of your success stories.
Okay, so one of the companies that I was in was we bought the company out of bankruptcy, and it was actually a Maryland company, and myself with partners, we went in, and it was a $100 million company, had zero cash, no revenue, and we took on the challenge, right, to turn the company around, and it was really a learning for all of us, because when you have no money, and for any of us, in our personal lives as well, it becomes cost avoidance, cost reduction, revenue. We had clients who were not profitable, so we had to fire clients.
Sure.
We couldn't provide them services. So in 4 years, we were able to get the company to $215 million company, and actually ended up selling it 4 years later for $550 million. But it's really, you know what you learn? You learn it's all block and tackle. You have to roll up your sleeves, and you have to really pay attention to your clients and your customers. People forget about their customers.
And do the work.
And do the work.
Yeah.
So that took us with what I call a four-legged stool, which is focusing on the people.
Right.
Because your people are your company. Focusing on process and procedures.
Right.
One of my analogies with process and following process and procedures is sort of like you have an orchestra and you have a conductor, and everybody has to follow the conductor. There's a process, and that's the process. You have to follow the notes, play your instruments, right? And so if you have one person or two people who decide not to follow that lead, then you have dissidence,
Right.
right? And so that's what, process really means, followed by everybody,
Right.
right? And we have our third-legged stool is the systems.
Right.
You need systems for measurements and metrics. And finally, it's the executive staff,
Yeah.
right? We have to do a lot of coaching with the executive staff so they understand that what is your strategy? Do you have a strategy? Do your employees know what your strategy is, right? What are your goals?
Yeah.
What are your objectives for the company? And they're just so running to what's the revenue,
Right.
that they forget who implements that revenue, right?
Really.
Your people.
Yeah.
Your people in the company are the ones who implement that revenue. And so studies really have found that when people are involved,
Right.
that productivity improves by 23%.
Now, I've talked to a couple of different coaches over the last couple of years, and they all said one thing, that finding new clients is the big challenge. Ones that are positioned, that need the help and are willing to admit it. And how do you go about telling your story to different folks to find those people?
Well, that's exactly right. That's all of our challenge, right? If you're in this space that we're in, it's really difficult to get these executives to admit that they have a problem.
Right.
It's like therapy, right? You have to admit that you have a problem, so you can go get help.
So, how do you go about doing your marketing and advertising? What do you find has worked for you?
What's worked for us has been digital marketing, LinkedIn.
LinkedIn, yeah.
Or LinkedIn is huge for us. Doing campaigns to our existing contacts, blogs, other shows like yours.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Been doing that, getting the word out to a lot of time we get a lot of referrals, right? Let's say from the legal community,
right?
Because they're involved with the CEOs and they see the issue,
they know what's going,
right?
Yeah.
Or the CFOs, financial people as well, right? Because they see what's going on financially in the company. So it's a whole variety of. I did a press release. We've done that as well.
Well, great. So people can reach out to you by going on LinkedIn.
Right.
So that's one way. And you have a website.
Right.
Which is Transitional Solutions?
No, transformationsolution.pro.
Okay.
Right. Or they can email me at ilabo@transformationsolutions.pro.
And so you can kind of talk with them and see if it might be a good fit, see if you can help them have that conversation. Well, I imagine you're going to get some calls on this because there's so many business people in that. So thanks so much for stopping by.
Yeah.
I appreciate
Thank you.
that.
Thank you very
and would you
much.
come back again later?
I would love to.
Maybe we could talk some more.
I'd love to.
Excellent.
Thank you.